Before kickoff at the 2026 World Cup, officials perform a strange ritual. For 90 minutes, they place the match balls onto glowing charging pads. This routine is strictly enforced. If a ball's battery isn't fully topped off, it is forbidden from touching the grass. Without power, the internal systems would die mid-match, instantly cutting off live data to the referee booth. The object soaking up this electricity is the Adidas Trionda. It wears the colors of the three host nations, green, blue, and red, across its panels. The match ball has evolved into a dependent electronic node, requiring the same daily maintenance as a smartphone. The reason for this strict battery protocol is a 14-gram piece of hardware called an inertial measurement unit, or IMU. It's a motion sensor chick that wakes up the moment the ball is chicked, recording speed, spin, and direction 500 times every second. In previous tournaments, engineers suspended these chips dead center inside the ball using high-tension cables, but hard impacts caused those internal wires to fatigue and snap. To fix this for 2026, Adidas moved the computer out of the center, mounting it directly beneath one of the exterior panels. Strapping a microchip to one side throws off the center of gravity, causing the ball to wobble asymmetrically. To counteract this, engineers embedded artificial counterweights into the three remaining panels, forcefully pulling the center of gravity back to the middle. Striking the Trionda means kicking a piece of Frankenstein hardware, weighted and counterbalanced just to maintain a predictable path. Stuffing that tracking hardware inside required stripping the outside down to its bare minimum. The Trionda is built from exactly 4 interlocking panels, the fewest ever used on a World Cup stage. But 4 large panels make a sphere far too smooth. To keep the heavy internal computer from rattling in flight, engineers carved exceptionally deep grooves into the seams and stamped heavy microtextures across the polyurethane skin. In fluid dynamics, this texture is known as distributed roughness. As the ball travels, these deep grooves intentionally generate massive amounts of aerodynamic friction, forcing the air to tightly grip the surface. The outer skin was purposefully weaponized against the air. It generates heavy drag to forcefully stabilize the fragile electronics hidden inside. To understand what that friction destroys, we have to look at the drag crisis. When a perfectly smooth sphere is kicked hard with no spin, the airflow detaches from it chaotically, creating uneven pressure drops that make the ball swerve violently in random directions. This is exactly what happened with the 2010 Jabulani ball. Its smooth, 8-panel design triggered this aerodynamic chaos at typical shooting speeds, resulting in the wild, unpredictable knuckleballs that terrified goalkeepers. This line graph compares the aerodynamic transition points of both balls. Because the Trionda is covered in deep friction grooves, its drag crisis triggers early, causing a sharp plunge and drag at a low speed of just 11.9 meters per second. The smooth Jabulani didn't hit this plunge until it was traveling twice as fast. Because the Trionda gets its drag crisis out of the way at such low speeds, it is physically locked into a rigid, highly stable turbulent flow regime at top velocities. It cannot cross the aerodynamic threshold to wobble. The physics of the shell systematically eliminate the knuckleball. A player can strike it as hard as they want, and it will fly in a deadlocked, predictable line. The bending, dipping magic of a long-range screamer was sacrificed. A straight flight path ensures the internal computer doesn't destabilize midair. All of these physical restrictions point toward a specific goal, catering to a user that never actually touches the pitch. The video assistant referee sitting in a booth miles away is the real end user of this design. The 500 Hz sensor acts as a temporal anchor. It registers the exact 2-millisecond window when a boot makes contact with the polyurethane skin. That specific timestamp instantly syncs with 12 optical tracking cameras mounted in the stadium roof. Together, they feed the semi-automated offside technology, generating a live 3-dimensional grid of every player's position the moment a pass is made. The Trionda might be a compromised piece of sports equipment, but it functions perfectly as a real-time data transmission node. This algorithmic system does exactly what it was designed to do. It resolves millimeter-tight offside calls on invisible handball touches in seconds, removing human error from the equation. But that precision came at the cost of the sport's physical chaos. The erratic swerves and the analog magic of a free-flying ball are gone, replaced by a mathematically predictable object on a regulated path. In their absolute obsession with perfectly sterilized digital data, FIFA managed to engineer the beautiful unpredictability right out of the beautiful game.